Well, happy Cinco de Mayo to you all. Welcome to another episode of Retro Championship Wrestling. We start week 15 in the North Division, and we have changed things around. Each region now has indie undercards that have 20-minute time limits, and the title bout will have a 60-minute time limit. But our first four preliminaries that we need to catch you up on all went to draws. Kevin and Kerry Von Erich and the Masked Assassins went to a 20-minute draw, as did a scientific bout between Antonino Rocco and Pat O'Connor. Ivan Putski and Gary Albright did the same, a 20-minute draw. And due to some last-minute shuffling, we had to bring in a couple of men to make their debut in RCW, and they are very extreme. Abdullah the Butcher and Tommy Dreamer went to a 20-minute draw, not underlying the fact that Abby's face was a crimson mask as the bout ended. And now we have our indie title bout, which will kick off our coverage here and end the indie undercard version. It is between Lou Thesz and Boris Malenko, and Malenko just beat Jim Londos, so he is in positive territory in terms of his ranking. Normally, it's kind of like golf, but you want to be close to zero as opposed to being as far away from zero as you can. And Malenko is in positive territory, so he's doing the best, so he got the shot here in this North region. It's a one-fall, 60-minute time limit affair. Thesz has been the long-standing indie champ, defeating Medico Assassino for the title a few weeks ago. He is coming in at 9-2-2, and Malenko just has that one win, which maybe it was a fluke, maybe it wasn't. But if he wrests the title, it'll move Thesz back to the Northern Circuit, awaiting challengers. And with his record, even if it goes to 9-3-2, he will get some challenges, I am sure. Thesz has won 3 in a row. Last loss was a DQ to Lars Anderson under questionable circumstances as Kola Koriani interfered in that bout. Let's see how he does here against Malenko. Thesz heavily favored. But wrestling is wrestling, and you just never know what will happen. Oh, and Thesz is cut open early. And I'm going to type that into my map description. 2 minutes, 9 seconds. A fist. Opens the bridge of Lou's nose. Kind of like, think of the Marvin Hagler fight with Tommy Hearns back in 1985, where he gets cut in the third round and Hagler has to kick it into high gear to knock Hearns out, and he does. So this is one fall 60. So Malenko better be conditioned. I'm sure condition will not be a problem for the man direct from Moscow, Russia. It's an even bout when you include Thesz's cut at nearly the 10-minute mark. 2 pin attempts to Malenko's 1. But I think if Malenko won, that would be a relief. But tempers player, and this bout's going to be thrown out a double DQ. I guess Thesz got his anger up, and the referee was not having any of it. So this one will go as a double DQ, which probably doesn't hurt Malenko's cause any. So I will take a very brief break to recalibrate the numbers, and I will be back with our regular card here in the North region of RCW. Stand by. And now we're ready to go with our first bout on our regular card, and it's going to be Magnum TA against Lex Luger. Luger is the heel, but we're going to make him a tweener and use his face card here, because he really hasn't been established as a heel yet, and we want to give him a chance to prove himself worthy. He comes in he is actually a rookie and would be on the indie circuit, but Buddy Rogers was supposed to face Magnum TA in this bout, but Buddy Rogers was a no-show at the last minute. I do a random dice roll for each of our 26 acts, and Buddy was the one who came up with at 100, so we do not use him. And whoever is the highest, if nobody gets 100, would come into the ring sick, injured, has a hidden injury, ill, something like that. So a big chance for Luger if he can hold himself to a 30-minute draw here against TA, and that's asking a lot for him. But we'll see what he can do. TA is 11-2. He was at one point the Northern champion. He lost by DQ to Billy Joyce, and then he lost by pinfall to Jerry Lawler. Lawler respected him enough to turn babyface, and we'll be seeing him later against Tommy Rich. So off we go in this title bout. These two just missed each other in Mid-Atlantic. TA had his car crash in 1986, and Luger came in, I would want to say like 87, when Ole Anderson left the Four Horsemen. They brought Luger in, and he was eventually the fourth man. A defensive battle here in the first few minutes. These men just testing the waters. Luger lost and drew to Murcielago Velasquez in the South a few weeks back, and Velasquez is now the Eastern champion. But we'll see what happens here. We have a count out. A brawl breaks place outside the ring. TA beats the count. Luger not paying attention. TA wins. Kind of a match with not a lot of action, but TA is going to go to 12-2 and extends his winning streak to 5 in a row. And with our recalibration using the simple rating system, he could wind up back in the title hunt, while Luger still has 2 more bouts to fully gain his big-time roster stripes. But he's off to a bad start at 0-2-1 after this. So this was a bit of a tactical battle until blows are exchanged on the outside. Leading to TA being aware enough to beat the count. And TA and I know we'll be seeing Luger, I think, in Japan next week, because when we don't have adequate men who have made, you've gotten 5 bouts or more in the singles, or 3 tag bouts or more, we use indies, and we bring the indies up, and they are the placeholders. And if we don't have indies sufficiently enough, we debut wrestlers. I was going to have Gorilla Monsoon face Kendo Nagasaki, but I accidentally saw that they had each had 3 bouts, and I thought, well, the tag rule is 3 bouts and you go up to the majors, but for a split second I didn't see that, so I put Abby and Tommy Dreamer in. So Monsoon will have a bout later. I think Kendo Nagasaki has a bout somewhere later, so we'll just leave it as it is. Accidental replacements, I guess you could call this. Now, in our second bout, we have the team of Cowboy Bob Ellis and Johnny Valentine. Valentine sometimes a face, sometimes a heel. But they're highly rated, so a good showing against the Nightmares could get them a title shot in the future against maybe the Scots, or the Scots are facing Choten. later on this card. But they're both good teams, and they have battled each other before, I do believe. Yes, they faced each other. It was the debut bout for Ellis and Valentine, and Ellis and Valentine won by countout. And we know Ellis and Valentine, and they're both in the right place. Ellis and Valentine 3-1, and the Nightmares 2-1-1. They were highly ranked in the new simple rating system, so we are using them both in this one fall 30-minute time limit bout. The Ellis and Valentine pairing had a recent couple of bouts with the Von Brauners, which they came out on the losing end of in the last bout, and this turned into a brawl right away as Valentine and Kenny Wayne brawl outside the ring. So this ends in 48 seconds as a double countout. So we have return for his team. So one thing I like about doing these cards on YouTube is I get to show you how the sausage is being made and where my brain is in terms of how the sausage should be made. So this was a double count out in 48 seconds. Now time does not matter. Results matter. And who you face when you face them matters. So Ellis and Valentine get a draw. They will go 3-1-1, and the Nightmares go to 2-1-2. So really doesn't hurt either team's argument much. Now here's a match coming up that we have seen in Memphis. And I use each man's card. Rich is a heel, but I use his babyface card because it's way better. And I use him as a tweener. He's facing Jerry Lawler. I saw an interview recently that Rich was not a fan of Jerry the King Lawler's. It must have occurred some time ago, where we use Lawler's face card to make this could be an even bout. And of course, these two met in Memphis a few dozen times. And of course, Lawler is the most coveted champion in all of wrestling. I think he won the USWA Unified title. Like he is what they talk about Flair being a 17-time world champion, and Lawler has held regional titles somewhere over 150 times. So Rich comes in well regarded. He had a win against Bruno. He is a fill-in for somebody, but I don't remember whom. So he should be in the Indies, but he is not. He is 1-0-1. Now Lawler has a record as a heel too. So let me just add this on. Go to his statistics. He's 1-1 as a babyface. See how he did as a heel. He went 2-1-1 as a heel. He's 1-1 as a babyface, so he's 3-2-1. I was using his heel card when he was in the East, looking for a battle he never got with Dusty Rhodes, who I don't think has any matches today. This week, I mean. So we'll play this 30-minute bout out as we move right along here on this RCW card. Lawler, nope. And Lawler cut right away. Well, cut at 332. Pile driver. This is about even. Fist drop by Jerry. No pin. Armholes. And we have a DQ. Lawler wins by DQ, and that's the first loss for Tommy Rich. By DQ at 11:18. He was bumped over the top rope, leading to the DQ. So he gets a win when he probably should have been, well, he was bleeding, but he wasn't really losing. He was up 2 pinfall attempts to 1. So now we have a grudge match coming up. Match that was made last week between Antonio Inoki, Triple H. Probably be the last time for a while we see Inoki outside of the West Circuit. But we grandfathered in the feuds, but we'll eventually go back to having these guys in their respective regions. Hope your May 5th went well. So Inoki is in. Didn't Muhammad Ali call Inoki a pelican or something like that when they met in 1976 in that what's now considered the first MMA match ever in that sport's history? So they will go 30. We'll call this a grudge match. And it's a special, that would be no time limit with the special stip. So Inoki is the former 2-time very popular world junior heavyweight champ at 10-5-1. And H has been struggling against the best of all time at 2-3-2. So let's see what happens here in this bout. Grudge match, so we have no time limit on this. We'll try to get a winner if we can. Triple H starting out good with a pin attempt. Foreign object. Oh, could this be it right away? No. H doing very well, and Inoki just taking a lot of punishment here in the opening 5 minutes. Oh, knee drop off the top rope. Inoki finally comes alive. Goes for the enziguri, that little roundhouse kick to the head that Inoki was famous for. So, and our cage match for the World Tag Team titles later will also be no time limit. Must be a winner. Enziguri this time connected on the enziguri, but it didn't get the pin. Now H on the defensive as we've gone to about the 11-minute mark. Backdrop suplex. No. Pin attempts, submission attempts coming fast and furious in this first half of the bout, and it's now about dead even. This last pin attempt failed. So let's see if we can find a winner, find a loser here. Give the fans their money. Cross arm breaker. Cross arm breaker is not going to get a submission out of Triple H, who once submitted to the late Chris Benoit's crippler crossface. And we have a DQ. A DQ to Inoki. Inoki will be the winner. At 1933, Triple H shoved the ref at 1933. I told you that, right? And it was a 3-star bout. So Anoki, your winner. And Triple H, not feeling it. Falls to 2-4-2. Now we have another match. That will be no time limit because we're going to a cage. For this bout, these two have been feuding, Paul Jones and Mr. Wrestling 2. Mr. Wrestling 2 has been going back and forth between North and the South because he has been in a battle with some of their grapplers to determine who is the best masked man of all time. But Paul Jones has been interfering as of late in some of his bouts. We use his heel card because he's a little more dastardly. So this is a non-title bout, but in a cage. And this is the 8th bout for 2. He is 5-0-2. And this is the 16th bout for Paul Jones. He's been a mainstay in RCW. He's 4-5-6. So he's had 6 draws. Off we go. The cage has been lowered. And I will take a break after this bout. Jones cut right away. Surprise, surprise. Number 1, Paul Jones, who was a mainstay in the Mid-Atlantic, and he just used a foreign object, but it did not draw blood through the mask of Mr. Wrestling 2, Johnny Walker, a well-known figure in Georgia wrestling in the 70s and 80s. Both men using the cage, considerable deal. After this, we go to our title bouts. I will take a break to eat because it's nearly noon, and you won't notice because I'll be back with the championship matches, including a world tag title bout. Some submission attempts that are not triggering submissions. Oh, the $1 million knee. That has Jones woozy, but he makes it to the ropes. 2 leading. We're at the 12-minute bout. Down 13. Oh, sleeper, but that cannot gain a submission. And we have somebody, looks like Mr. Olympia, an old rival of Mr. Wrestling 2. And 2 has been tossed out of the cage, which does not result in a win for 2. So we may see a bout between those 2 misters in the near future. And a pinfall chop to the throat. 2 is victorious. And I'm sure he would want to face Harley Race. We'll see if that can happen. So 2 wins, chop to the throat. He is now 8 bouts without a loss. 6-0-2. Chop to the throat. Come on, Paulie. Remember your grammar here. 157.18 was 73.26. So both these guys wore the claret, but Mr. 2 prevails. So I will take a brief break, which you won't notice because I'll just go straight to our title bouts, and we'll be back. Okay, everybody, we're back for our championship bouts. We have 3 of them. So this last part of taping should go smoothly. We have Choten. They are actually a babyface team. We're just going to make them a tweener here to trying to win the title, go back to Japan with it. And they're facing the Flying Scots. And we've had Western champions before that have won the Northern titles. The Holy Demon Army did that briefly and then lost to the Briscoes, who lost to the Scots. And now the Choten can beat them. I got something going on my phone. Hold on for a moment, folks, as I check it. And it's something I already knew about anyway. So, this is one fall, 60-minute time limit. The Scots are 6 wins, 1 loss, 3 draws. Their only loss was a pinfall loss to Bruiser Brody Steen and Stan Hansen, who are now the Brass Knucks tag title holders, and they have a date in the Southern Indies. Get against who? Well, we'll figure it out. But in fact, let me just pull it up right now and just put you all at ease. Yeah, they got Rey Mysterio, not Rey Bucanero and Ultimo Guerrero, heel team. So it'll be a battle of heels. And Choten, 4 wins, 1 loss, 2 draw. They also lost by pin to the then Southern tag title holders, the 4 Horsemen, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard. So it's one of these bouts with Choten being a Western team in the North. They are kind of like technically the bad guys. So we're off with this bout. Scots won that babyface match against the Briscoes, who haven't been seen as a team since because Jack subsequently won the Western title in a battle royal. Oh, and the Scots are cut. It's going to be Sandy Scott with a cut. As Choten just playing the character, and it is Chono with a bit of aggression, smashing draw blood at 5:44. Bit of a surprise, but crowd wasn't on their side to begin with. Oh, and we have a cut on. Let's see here. Oh, we have heads colliding. It was George and Tenzan. So this is surprisingly turned into quite a bloody match. So Chono is the only one that's not busted open. And this was supposed to be a friendly encounter. And we have a pinfall. We have a new Northern Tag Team title holder. Partner illegally enters the ring to say his partner. Referee loses track of partner is nailed from behind. And Choten are your new Northern Tag Team title holders. Tenzan pinning Sandy. Later in the bout, referee's decision is final. So it's Choten by pin at 9-14. And they are the new champions. They could take on anybody. They could take on a babyface team or a heel team. They'll take on all comers. Maybe we will see a mandated rematch between these two teams. Who knows? Let me just do the particulars here and go to the tag match summary. And the Scots are no longer champs. And they go back to the northern pile. Whereas Choten, I'm going to have to look for them. Will have a run as your Northern Tag title holders. They had a match planned with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. So who will replace them? Will be the Holy Demons, the Holy Demon Army. Heel versus heel bout. And in terms of titles, we have had 6 different Northern Tag titles. It's been, I think, the most traded of the championship. So the 2-week reign of the Scots comes to an end. And we move on to our next bout. And we could see a title change here, too, between Harley Race and Stan Hansen. As Hansen is testing the waters in the North region as a single. We use his Japan card because it's the best. This will be one fall, 60 minutes. And Harley could be in trouble here. Hansen's a little better. Harley has just won 1 in a row, and Hansen just lost a controversial battle to Nick Bockwinkel as a single. He is 6-4-1. So both of these guys are capable. We'll just see what happens. Slow start. Race was dominating, but now he is cut. Slam into the ringside. A ringside table has busted open. The champ near the ear. Ooh, that's a nasty cut. At 254. Both these men have won 3 out of their last 4, I'm noticing. So Hansen ahead at about the 7-minute mark. See what happens here. High knee lift. You see those moves in capital letters. Those are usually good. And Harley wins by DQ. Harley by DQ to retain. As a headbutt by Hansen lands low. We'll just leave it at that. And 82. So Harley goes to 6-3, and Hansen to 6-5-1, but he will be a perennial contender for a lot of championships in RCW. Now on to our world title bout, tag title bout. Inside the steel cage, between the champions, the fabulous Kangaroos, led by Captain Luis Albano, is the tandem of Kent and Costello. And they get the Rock and Roll Express, the former World Tag Title holders, who are trying to become the first team in RCW to win the titles back and to become a multi-time champion. It's no time limit because it's a step match, so we have that in mind. A great mismatch in records. Kangaroos are actually 1-2-2. And the Rock and Roll Express 11-1-5. Their only loss was to the Kangaroos for the belts. And they have been on top since RCW, despite the rankings we use as one of the best tag teams. So off we go with this steel cage bout. The Rock and Roll Express won by DQ in the prior week, setting up the cage match. And they're off to a good start here, opening minutes. Flying drop kick. Oh, yeah, well, I thought it would be a little too early to get it done. Bulldog gets countered. Top rope knee drop by Costello, countered. Flying forearm, nope. 8 minutes in. It's about even Stevens right now. Despite they're holding the belts, I think the Kangaroos winning by pin would be a surprise. And we have a slight cut on Costello. About that even. The Express with a slight advantage. They land the flying body press. Doesn't lead to a pin. Sunset flip. Nope. Now they're starting to gain a bit of an edge as we get closer to 15 minutes. Series of body punches. Nope. Illegal punches, but the fans aren't going to complain about that, are they? So we're crossing into 16 minutes. It's still the Express by a wide margin. But the Kangaroos making a comeback, drawing even just about. And we have a pin. We have brand new World Tag Team Champions at the Rock and Roll Express. Everything old is new again as Don Kent is pinned. Kangaroos shake their hands and remind them that we'll get those titles back soon. And it is Robert Gibson Getting it done. And new champions for the second time at 2056. Gibson pins Kent after a knee drop to the throat. Good bout. 5 stars. You got 5 stars. So the action was frenetic. Albano can't be happy about them shaking hands. Kind of did a Donald Trump. They won the title. They lost the title. Now they won a title. So there you go, folks. Brand new World Tag Team Champions. At 21 minutes. Well, it was 2056 by the time of the pin as far as I saw it. So we'll go with that. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. We'll be back again tomorrow. Godspeed and God bless. We'll do it all again soon. Bye-bye for now.